take one.
Go.
How's it going?
It's going fantastic. Practice is going well, which is the most important. I just get to play all day here pretty much. First the EU ladder, and then when everybody in Europe is asleep, I can play with all the others.
What do you find is the most helpful having your teammates and other players together with you in person?
I think bouncing off each other some certain ideas in different matchups. Even just having someone from each race is helpful because they might have a different perspective on the game than you have. Most of the Zerg players, most top Zerg players I speak with consistently, but I don't so often speak with people like Byun, for example. This time we also have Astrea, which is useful, and Harstem. So just, I think, getting new ideas, getting some fresh ideas and different thought processes. Yeah, I think that's the most useful about it.
What would you be doing if you were not a Starcraft player?
That's a good question. So if I would have never found Starcraft, I probably would have continued my math studies. But if I now can't play Starcraft anymore, I would love to coach. So for example, when I coached Reynor for the World Championship that he won, and then the Gamers 8 that he won, that really made me super, super happy. And that's a feeling that I haven't found, or I can't think of finding in any other job. And then I actually found it in coaching. So if Starcraft was bigger, I think I already might have been a coach, because that also really makes me happy. And I feel like my skill set is even better aimed at that specific job. So maybe a coach in esports.
How do you get into coaching someone, and why?
I think I asked him for the Katowice because I didn't qualify for it. I was pretty upset, and then I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was like, okay, if I can't win, at least maybe I can see if my strategies work, if someone actually has the mechanics to pull them off. So I just hit up Reynor and I was like, hey, do you think we should work together maybe for the Katowice? And he said it's a great idea. So we worked together for a couple of months in preparation and then during the tournament as well. And it worked out perfectly. So then the last time for Gamers 8, once again, I didn't qualify, which usually I am at most good events. I usually qualify for them. So it's the second time I didn't qualify for such a big event. And then Reynor actually approached me and he was like, do you want to run it back? And I was like, hell yeah.
Do you celebrate?
I celebrated. I was more nervous than him, I think. My girlfriend was sitting behind me while we were watching together. I was also allowed to talk with him in between games. And my legs were shaking the entire time, just like when I'm playing. I was nervous the entire way through, as if I was playing myself.
Is Reynor a very coachable player, you find?
Super coachable. He listens to everything. You can give him ideas, and if he doesn't like them, we will just talk about them anyways. He listens well. He's a very coachable person.
Despite StarCraft being a one-on-one game, I find it to be a very collaborative environment. Do you feel like there has been a shift in the way people approach it?
I feel like the StarCraft team was always, so many people were always super friendly with each other, and no one really was trying to hide stuff per se. So I feel like this was always around and it hasn't so much changed. But I think, yeah, we're just a big family, and especially in the smaller friend circles, you always share stuff with each other and you always help each other. I think it has been that way ever since I joined the scene, pretty much.
Do you ever feel like there's conflicts of interest where you have two friends or two people you play against each other and then share any information?
I don't help ever there. I never share replays against my friends, and yeah, whenever two people ask me, I would never help either of them. The only time I did was when I specifically coached Reynor, but then I also would let everyone know, okay, hey, I'm coaching him, and I would obviously never use, let's say if I play custom games against someone, I would never use that to the advantage.
What about ladder games? Are they free game?
Ladder games are free, yeah. You can share ladder replays, for sure.
If you could live anywhere, where would you live? You live in Munich right now, right?
I live in Munich, yeah. I really love Munich. I have a strong connection because I have a lot of friends there. It would be hard for me to pick, because I also live right next to the mountains. I really like skiing. I like the winter. I've thought about this. I don't mind maybe moving away for a while, but I might always return to Munich, so it might actually be my favorite place to live. We have a lot of small fests like the Oktoberfest, meeting your friends for breakfast, and you have Weisswurst and wheat beer, and just having a good time in general. We have the Maibaum aufstellen. I have no clue how to translate that. It's basically a big thin tree that has tradition that you have in the small parts of the city. So you have that, for example, and there's more small stuff like that, yeah.
What's your favorite place you have traveled to in your esports career?
My favorite place was probably Korea. I went there to practice. I never had a tournament there, but I went there to practice. So I went there for 3 months because I loved the food. I really liked the people there. And yeah, the city was just something new for me. It was the first time I was in Asia. I also really liked parts of China where we went to. The hotels in China are insane.
What's with the name Lambo? How did that come about?
Well, first I was called Lamboking, and that was literally when I was in 5th grade, so I was 10 years old. Our parents told us we're not allowed to use our real names because that's scary. So everybody just picked something they liked and then put King or something behind it. I thought Lamborghinis looked cool on the day where I made the account, so that's why I picked Lamboking. There wasn't really much thought behind it. Yeah, I'm not very good at coming up with new stuff, so I just stayed Lamboking, and eventually it sounded really stupid, so I got rid of the King, and that's where my name came from.
Do you still like Lambos?
Not necessarily. I think some of them look cool, but I wouldn't really buy one. Like if I was to buy a supercar, I would probably buy an Audi R8.
Maybe you should rebrand.
To Audi, yeah, man. If they want to give me an R8, I'm down to change my name. So Audi, if you're watching.
How different do you find the experience to be between just playing on stream versus playing manual just on your own?
I think it's not that different. The biggest difference is that everybody sees your games and they can look it up. So whenever I have a tournament opponent, they can just subscribe to my Twitch and then they can watch the VODs, which I always have to have in mind. And that's the main difference for me. But in terms of skill, I think you get used to it, even with commentary, and then you play more or less the same.
Have you ever noticed another player subscribing to your channel
Yeah.
on their Twitch?
Yes, I've noticed it multiple times. I get back from tournament and I see Shadowdown or something subscribing. I don't know if it was actually him, but I saw it a couple of times. Sometimes you also see a random subscription the day right after the things get announced, the bracket gets announced, and it's obvious it's a Twitch smurf or something because it's a first-time subscriber. Never followed me, never had a message in chat. And I'm like, okay. I never show strategies that I want to use on stream that I don't think are super solid, or also even in weekly tournaments. That's why I really dislike weekly tournaments, because I always have at the back of my mind, okay, this is how I can't play in a real event. Like it goes from I can't even send my overlords there, and I'm constantly thinking, how can I maybe deceive my opponents, or how can I not do the same as I would in a normal tournament, and then you also play worse. So that's why I really dislike weekly tournaments, for example, especially if I'm streamed. If I'm not streamed, I can do whatever I want, but yeah.
Said you're a fan of arcade games?
Yes. I love some of the arcade games. We used to just play arcade games in the evening with like the other Starcraft pros. And there were a couple of arcade games I really loved to play. My favorite one was Zealot Hockey. That one was super fun, and Assassins. Like we would have just great times. I remember Discord calls that would go on forever until like 2 a.m. and we would just play arcade games. So I have very good memories of them.
What brings you the most joy about this, like your job?
The most joy is for sure when I win. I'm a very, at core, competitive person. And seeing my work, having results from that, there's like feelings of relief, of happiness after. It's feelings that I usually otherwise wouldn't get or never had in my life. Well, unless I did other sports as well. So yeah, I just like competing. The thing about Starcraft is you can always get better. You can always see your mistakes. Everyone makes a lot of mistakes, and you can never be perfect. Like it's super hard to be good, and it's impossible to be perfect in Starcraft, which makes playing it fun as well. And it's just a constant battle of wits as well, because people figure out new stuff. Then you have to figure out the counter as Zerg, and it's basically consistent problem solving that keeps me engaged. Yeah.
I have a question. I completely lost. It was so good too. Oh yeah. What are you looking forward to right now?
That's it. Well, I'm just disappointed by your question. First of all, you hyped it up so much, but yeah, I just always look forward to the exact next tournament because it's a chance to prove myself to myself and show that I'm good, and that's why I play after all.
And if you don't win, does that weigh on you? Like, how much does that affect?
For sure, the stakes for me are always high. I got a lot better at it. At the beginning of my career, I would always be super down on myself whenever I lost at a tournament, especially early exits. I get also the most nervous I get whenever I play weaker opponents and whenever I play in the early rounds. The moment I know, okay, I can be somewhat satisfied with this performance, I start playing way better. That's why usually my performances they either suck or they're really good. So it's something that I try to work on as well, on my mentality, but that's kind of how it is. It does weigh on me, for sure. I usually get stuck in like thought loops whenever I have bad results, when I'm like, okay, what if I just didn't do this, or man, I can't believe it. I should have slept better or did X and Y differently, and then I think, man, this is useless to think about, it already happened. This is just counterproductive right now. Why am I even thinking about this? And then half a minute later, I have the exact same thoughts again. So it is very annoying. But after some time, it goes away, and I think I got a lot better at dealing with it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Soon to be Audi R8 King.
It could be Audi SC2 if they gift me an R8, I'm down for it. But otherwise, it's probably gonna stay Lambo SC2.